Hello, this is Steve Thoele, Principal Broker with Premier Property Group, and bringing you another weekly update on the Wilsonville, Oregon real estate market. This update is going to cover the last 8 weeks of market activity, ending this past Sunday, October 2nd. So I'm going to share my screen with you now and go through the info with you. Start off looking at active listing activity. So I showed in last week in Wilsonville, we had 8 new homes kind of come on the market. You can kind of see how that compares to the prior 8 weeks here. Had a low of 4, a high of 16, and ended the week with 52 homes active on the market. You can kind of see that's unchanged from the week prior and has not really moved a whole lot. So, we had a low of 46 and a high of 53. So it's been pretty stable here over this past 8 weeks in terms of the amount of inventory on a weekly basis in Wilsonville. Median list price and days on market for those actives, you can kind of see where that has gone. Had a low of 689 and a high of 729. And this last week kind of dipped a bit down to 710. So again, not a lot of movement, I would say, relatively speaking, in Wilsonville. Days on market definitely has been on the rise, kind of a little bit more than doubled. So we started the period here at 17 days of average market time and got up to 39 days here a couple weeks back. This last week kind of came in at 38, so just down 1. So things are definitely hanging on the market a bit longer in Wilsonville. Moving along to pending sales. So last week in Wilsonville, I showed that we had 6 new properties, I should say new pendings in Wilsonville. And again, you can kind of see how that compares. Had a low of 2 about a month ago, a high of 13. And you can definitely see the trend of declining pendings here over this past 5 weeks now. So, had a high of 55 here, and it's kind of just continued to kind of stair step down from there to 36 this last week. So definitely not as many things getting into contract. Median price and days on market for the pendings, you can kind of see where that's been. Had a high of 700 8 weeks back, and a low actually this last week at 643, down 10,000 from the prior week. And then the days on market for those pendings, you can kind of see kind of a little interesting here. It had a high 8 weeks ago of 28 days of average market time and has actually kind of gone down in total. This last week kind of dipped clear down to 13. So, definitely some newer listings got into contract to kind of bring this number down quite a bit from what it was. And then lastly here, we'll look at sold listing activity. So as of the time I put this together, I showed we had 8 properties go from pending to sold this last week in Wilsonville. And that's same as the prior week. You can kind of see it's been a fairly tight range between a low of 6 and a high of 11 on a weekly basis in terms of, closings. And then we've actually seen an increase in closings here over the past 2 months, which is not very many markets can say this. It's usually kind of going in either other direction, but had a low of 27 here about 5 weeks back and has been climbing up a bit since then. Based on where the pendings are at, what we just looked at, I would expect that this is probably going to start to fall again as the pendings have been kind of coming down a little bit as well. But we'll see. Median sold price and days on market for the solds, you kind of see where that was at. Had a low of 625 8 weeks back, got up to 710 5 weeks ago, and then it's kind of fallen back. This last week came in at 638, up about 11,000 from the week prior. And then the days on market, you kind of see we were, in the around less than a week here. Earlier in the period, and then it definitely has kind of increased as we got more recent here. So last reading is 19 days of average market time for the solds. And then finally, we'll look at the weeks of inventory and the sale price as a percent of the original list price. So red bars is that weeks of inventory, and not relatively speaking, it's not a ton of movement here. I mean, we started the period at 7 weeks. And we're ending it at about 5.5 weeks. So it's been fairly steady. I mean, certainly kind of a slight decline here over the past two months, which again kind of goes counter to a lot of other what I see in a lot of other smaller markets here in the area. So 5.5 weeks, that's month and a half or so of inventory, which is not a lot relative to some other areas. And then the sale price as a percent of the list price, that has definitely kind of come under a bit of pressure. So we were up over 100% here 8 weeks back, and we've kind of dwindled down to this last reading at just over 94% of original list price. So definitely kind of seeing the effects here of price reductions in the market, as well as buyers just being able to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of their offer prices relative to the list price. So a bit of a mixed bag here. So again, not a lot of inventory when you look at that measure, but prices are definitely under the gun from where they were. So definitely I would say seller's market still, but buyers are definitely kind of gaining ground in terms of being able to negotiate and get a little bit better terms. So I hope this weekly update has been helpful and informative for you. As always, if I can ever answer any questions or be of any help, please don't hesitate to reach out. My number is 503-680-2065. If you found some value in this, please give me some likes, comments, and shares. Those are always appreciated. And if you're watching us on YouTube, and if you already haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. It's a great way for you to follow along on what's happening in your local market. So really appreciate you watching. Hope you have a fantastic day and week ahead, and we'll see you on the next video.